Hey there, and welcome to an old dog and a new conference. I wanted to just touch on the latest conference realignment news. I'm not an insider, but I have been following college football my whole life and watched a lot of this realignment stuff. The thing I saw when the Pac-12 lost USC and UCLA, I said that it was over. I was of the opinion that we would end up in the Big Ten because I didn't think you can get a competitive TV deal without those markets. It panned out that way. It doesn't mean I'm a genius. It just means that's how it happened. When it comes to the Mountain West, I see a lot of media spinning how the Mountain West has won and the Pac-12 has lost. I just can't fathom it. Here's what we're looking at. The Mountain West TV deal, I think it's $5 million a year. Some people are saying they're signing this grant of rights extension and now they're maybe going to get $7. How? I mean, let's look at who they lost. Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, and Colorado State. If you follow the Mountain West, that's about the only brands that are relevant. I mean, Wyoming, unfortunately for them, they're a tiny market. They're good most of the time. They're not this year. And Hawaii's fun, but they're not usually good, and the travel there is ridiculous. UNLV from time to time is good. I mean, Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State are the ones that in football and even basketball, but in football especially, are relevant. They all left for the Pac. So now the Pac-12 has 7 teams because they also took Utah State. And Utah State is about the same as all the other teams in the Mountain West. And good for them. I know they have legal troubles. Obviously, they'll get that worked out. I don't know what will come of it. The Mountain West is going to go for the next TV contract without their 4 most powerful brands and somehow increase their deal. Unless maybe just the markets change and deals go up. But even if that's the case, well, what do you think the Pac deal is going to be when they have Washington State, Oregon State, their new stadium, Boise State undefeated, ranked, San Diego State, their basketball is pretty good and their football is usually good. Fresno State, I mean, these are California markets. If by some weird stretch of the imagination, the Mountain West gets a $7 million deal, I mean, then when the new Pac gets their deal, it's going to be 14 or 15, maybe more. I mean, I'm not saying it will be that much because I don't think Mountain West is. I think they're going to lose money on their next deal. They're not even going to get $5 million, depending on what they can bring in. But if you're an outsider looking in and you see the Pac and the Mountain West, one conference already has 6 strong brands. The other conference, you can say they have 2, maybe, right? UNLV and Air Force. And Air Force, with the military aspect, you have Air Force members, whether they went to the academy or not. You have members all across the country, and they're in Colorado. So, yeah, that's a good brand. And UNLV, I mean, they're not relevant all the time in football, but they're getting better, and they're in a huge market. Nevada, Las Vegas is a growing market. So there you got 2 markets there, right? And you got the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, tiny market, horrible travel, haven't been good. And that Nevada Wolfpack, the market's not what UNLV is. Sometimes they're good, but it's still a small market. Like I said, Wyoming has been a good football team in a tiny market, and they're not good this year. And I don't know what to think of New Mexico. They're good on occasion. I mean, if you look at the situation objectively, in my opinion, the Pac gutted the Mountain West and left them in shambles. From what I understand, Hawaii's only a football member, so the Mountain West still needs 2 teams to be at 8. The Pac needs 1. The Pac was targeting Texas schools. I mean, there's people said they swung and missed with Memphis and Tulane and all that, which they kind of did, but the idea is they want those teams, but it's a lot of travel, and they didn't want to pay a lot to get teams that was going to cost money to travel to and all that. Texas is a little bit closer. It's a huge market, so if they end up with even like Texas State or UTEP or something like that, they get a few Texas schools. Maybe they find something in New Mexico or wherever. They have makings of a good G5. And I think it'll still be G5, actually, because I don't think Mountain West can survive this. I just don't see how the brands that are left there can support the conference at any competitive level. So, I'm not a hater of the Mountain West. My team, the Huskies, is not in the Pac-12 anymore. I don't see how you can objectively look at this and say, wow, the Mountain West really did great. They held off the Pac-12 and are in great position. They're just not. They lost their best brands. The Big 12 lost their best brands, Texas and Oklahoma, and survived. But the Big 12 was thick with better brands than anything in the Mountain West. And they're still the weakest G5. Some people would say the ACC. I don't know. It's a toss-up maybe between the ACC and the Big 12. Right now, the only reason why the Big 12 isn't the weakest Power 4 conference is because of Utah. The Mountain West isn't bringing in a Utah. The Mountain West isn't bringing in anybody close to like an Arizona. Mountain West is going to be fighting with the Pac-12 over Texas State or UTEP. Schools like that, which are fine. They're good brands and they're in like very good markets, but that's who they're fighting over. So you can't turn around and replace Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Colorado State with UTEP and North Texas or something and think, well, yeah, see, we survived it. We're great. No, that conference is devastated. While the new Pac has the skeleton of maybe the best G5 conference out there. I'm not a huge Wazoo fan. I pull for them now that they don't have our conference, but they're a good team. They've been a good team. Jake Dicker, if they can hold on to him, he's a good coach. Oregon State, they've got a solid foundation. They've got great facilities. Boise State, everybody knows Boise State. They're maybe the best team in the G5. Fresno State, every few years they get a better coach. They're relevant. They're top 25-ish. Colorado State now and then pops up. The Pac has the beginnings, the skeleton of a really good G5 conference, while the Mountain West is left in shambles. I don't know. Maybe it'll turn out the way that I'm seeing people talk. Maybe the Pac has sunk and the Mountain West is ready just to go on forward, but I absolutely do not see anything close to that. My thoughts are 100% the Pac gutted the Mountain West, set themselves up to be at least solid G5 conference, and the Mountain West is left hoping they survive. Until next time, go Dogs.